Minasan, ohayo gozaimasu. Welcome! This channel is for Japanese learners of English. Hyomo shadowing no lesson wo yat ikimashou. Listen to today's real native conversation. Focus on the rhythm and shadow along. Practice daily to master tango, bunpao, hatsuan, and rhythm. Repeat and try again tomorrow if needed. Zei. Chenaru no toroku. Wo onegai shimasu. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
Ever been stuck trying to make small talk, especially in English? It can be surprisingly tricky, but that's where the magic happens, right? It's like a social lubricant that smooths things over, whether you're meeting someone new or just chatting with a coworker.
Totally. It's more than just how's the weather, isn't it? It's about building connections and making those everyday interactions more engaging, especially if you're doing it in a second language.
Yeah, and it's not just random chatter. There's a purpose to it all. Even in business, it plays a key role. It's how you start building relationships with new contacts.
Exactly. You know, you're trying to find that common ground, like, oh, you like baseball? I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
And suddenly you've got a conversation going, a bit more than just formal talk.
It's that human element, right? It's not always about getting straight to business. You got to have those little chats to ease in. Otherwise, it's just like all transactional.
Totally. And it also makes the whole work environment more comfortable. It's about creating that atmosphere of approachability. So how do you make it happen without sounding awkward in English?
Okay, first things first. Topics that are usually safe are things like the weather, which sounds boring, but is a start, right? Or current events, as long as you stay away from the super controversial ones, I mean.
That's a good one. And then hobbies are always a safe bet. You could ask about what people enjoy in their free time. You know, movies, books, music. It's always fun to see what people are into.
Yeah, and sports. Always. Asking if they follow a team or any particular sport is a good icebreaker. People usually have an opinion about something.
Exactly. And then travel. Always a winner. Have you been anywhere interesting lately? Or any big trips planned? You get to hear stories, share experiences.
You know, sometimes just asking about someone's weekend, what they got up to, is always an easy conversation starter. People like talking about fun, relaxing things.
They do. But of course, there are things to avoid. Politics and religion are no-goes, right? You just don't want to open up that can of worms in small talk.
I bet. And getting too personal right off the bat, that's a big no-no. Asking about someone's age, marital status, or anything super private is just awkward.
Yep. And definitely steer clear of any inappropriate or offensive jokes, you know. It's just not the right time or place.
True, and even seemingly innocent things like commenting on someone's appearance can be tricky, so best to avoid that unless you know them really well.
Okay, so now we know what to talk about, what not to, but how do we actually do it in English? What are some easy phrases that you can use?
So starting out, you can say, "Hi, how's it going?" You know, simple, casual, and it is a very common way to begin.
Yeah, and if you want to know about their weekend, try, "How was your weekend?" It's easy to remember and use.
Exactly. Or, to keep it general, you could try, "How are you doing?" It's a go-to phrase for any situation.
And when you're agreeing or showing interest, things like, "I see," or "really," or even, "That's interesting," are all very useful.
And if you're looking to wind up the conversation, "It was nice talking to you," or "Have a great day," are pretty good ways to end a chat.
Perfect. And what about when you don't quite catch something that's said?
That's easy. You just say, "Sorry," or "Excuse me." And if you need them to repeat, "Could you say that again?" works perfectly.
It makes sense, right? Now, it's all about practice, really, isn't it? It's not enough to know the phrases. You have to practice using them to get comfortable.
Absolutely. The more you try, the more confident you'll become. It's all about creating a flow. It's like any other skill, right? You have to practice using it.
I think a great approach is to start with simple questions and then see where it goes from there. You don't have to carry the whole conversation all by yourself.
Yeah, listen actively to what the other person is saying and ask follow-up questions based on that, you know? It's not about showing how much you know. It's about connecting.
And it doesn't need to be a long, drawn-out thing, right? Even short exchanges can make a big difference to someone else's day and yours too.
It is the small things, isn't it? It's really those everyday little connections that add up to make things better. So, you know, next time, instead of just walking by, start with small talk.
Exactly. It's not just about practicing English. It's about building those human connections, one small talk at a time.
All right, we've finished today's lesson. How did you find it? Repeat and try again tomorrow if needed. Please let me know your kanso or request in the comments. Zehi, channel no toroku wo onegai shimasu. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. See you next time. Bye bye.